Okay, welcome everyone. It is December 18th. This is our last game session of the year for City of Mist, so welcome. In last session, which was actually like a month ago, it was a long time ago, we had a great first session where they got introduced to stuff. We're going to go into that in a minute. But one thing we forgot to do at the end of that session is I forgot to have the players do an end of session move. So on the screen now, we have our session end, and I'm going to go back and forth between the two players that are here, and I'm going to ask you to answer one or more of the following questions, and we can go where you answer one question, and then I'll go to the other player, you answer one question, and I'll go back and give the first player an opportunity to answer a different question if they want, and back and forth until we run out of things to say. And so there's no pressure. You don't even have to have anything to say the first time I come to you. But we're gonna start with Alexi. Alexi, look through those questions and tell me how you might want to answer one of those questions. As a reflection of that last game session.
There wasn't a ton that happened, so it's hard to answer. I mean, we got a lot of information, but we didn't have a lot of, like, inter-character interactions. So I guess if I had to choose one, most likely, I guess we're not very far in. It seems weird to go with my themes being under strain.
Right. No, and there isn't. So you may go, not much, not really this time. And then we'll get another one of these at the end of the session when you may have another perspective, right? Usually there's something you can remember from the second question that gets played into the most because it has to do with what you just got done playing, and I know that was a month ago. But if there's anything about that session where you were beginning your investigation of this guy's death or / murder, or some mysterious guy broke in the back door, came down, and while Martha and he were on the stage together, he came in and Martha screamed. The guy clutched his chest and keeled over, and then the man ran off.
I remember all of that. There's just...
Was there any interactions with other, well, in this case, with Xavier, that you felt was a positive going forward interaction? Did he help you out or do something that you felt left a positive impact on you, in which case you could take a help for him? Likewise, just like what we were doing and you have plenty of help and hurt already. Maybe you've decided that from the theme things we did at the end of the session 0, the exposition session. So we can skip you and I'll ask Xavier if he's got anything. And then if you have something, when I come back to you, you give everyone a chance to do at least one question.
Okay.
So all right. So Xavier, about you.
One thing I can think of is question 1 is taking up the job in the first place and working together more. How the group through that session to try to recover our patrons and guests.
Very good. All right. So then you can absolutely recover that patrons and guests. So there is a little recycle button off to the right of it. You can hit that and it'll restore that tag so you can use that again. So that's great. So the fact that you took this and you're off, maybe because your patron sent you there and you jumped on it and found an interesting like being a part of this whole group was very beneficial to you. So that's great. All right. Then back to Alexi. Do you have anything that has come to mind since we last spoke to you, but few seconds ago? Anything new?
I mean, most it's a little bit of a stretch, but if any of my themes are under strain right now, probably my turf, because I'm currently working outside of it.
Okay. You're kind of ignoring your turf, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So if you
'Cause I'm,
want, then
yeah,
yep,
I'm
yep. So what
neglecting.
you can do
Yeah.
is you can check off a fade, or is it crack? It's crack, I think.
If it
Uh,
collapses, it says which of your themes is under the most strain. If it collapses, what new aspect will show up in its place?
okay.
Write down the answer under flip side on that theme's card.
Yeah, I'm not sure there is a flip side to the theme card. Um, so what you can do, where did I see? There was a theme that did that. I guess it was the other module for Legend in the Mist. So what you can do is maybe under bio, you could write down the theme name and just call it Flipside. And the reason they call it that is because when you make a character at a table, you actually have theme cards, and you write on them with like dry erase marker, and so you write all your tags down. But that you can flip the card over, and it has more places for you to make notes there. So I think that is probably. I'm looking. I don't see.
What the heck? I was
That was
right.
me. I unlocked your sheet. Sorry, did that screw you up?
Yeah, I was in the middle of writing in it.
It didn't save it. Oh no. Sorry.
Yeah, I gotta rewrite.
You can
My
flip
bad.
You can flip your card if you click the header.
Yeah, you can flip the card, but there's not really a section.
There's nowhere to write.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's where because I was trying to find the attention and crack.
Yeah, that's where it is on the other side.
They used to be. They got moved. Okay.
Because I
Yeah.
have one in attention that I'm looking at right now for high-end bartender.
Okay, so anytime that you feel like you need to give your theme attention or give it crack or fade, you can absolutely do that. On both the types of themes, it's called attention when you give it like experience points, right? Attention is akin to experience. But the other one, crack, is kind of a totally new concept. It's a way for you to eventually retire that theme. And then you replace it with a theme of the opposite type. So let's just say, Alexi, you have your turf theme. If you were to give it reasons to crack, 3 crack worth, that's a lot of crack running through your turf. Waka waka. Then you actually can get rid of the turf theme itself, but you replace it with the purple mythos theme. And it will become what is called a nascent theme, and that means it has 1 tag. And then every time you get an attention, you add another tag until you get it up to the 3 with a weakness. So it's really interesting how the theme then grows into the next level. So it feels more like leveling up, even if you just have almost like 2 competing characters, a normal guy, and then you got a superhero, and they're both competing to level up, right? And so in order for the normal guy to level up, the hero has to fade away a little bit. And in order for the superhero to level up, that logos part of you has to crack and give, and then out comes from that crack, it breaks through, and you add a new mythos theme. So anyway,
So
that's
so I need to write down what the flip side Mythos version of turf would be if it breaks.
right. Yeah.
Essentially?
What kind? Yeah, you're starting to think. You're not. It's not set in stone, but what it's doing is it's getting you to think about it, and that's what's cool about this game is that there's a lot of this kind of player
think-
thinking that's going on.
Yeah, I think Bastion might be a. Are we talking about something that would be the opposite, or something that
Nope.
would be related to the theme?
No, it's like if you lose turf, what would you replace it with? It would be a purple theme, but you already have
Yeah.
bastions, so you can't have two of those. So you would pick a different one. What would
Yeah,
that be? Would it be
Sorry, I'm thinking of a
summoning?
different one. I have Bastion. What I'm thinking
Yeah.
of would be.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Would it, you have expression and you have bastions, so maybe it's adaptation or and, you know, gosh, any one of the others, right? So you have to just decide what theme. So in other words, it's prompting you, hey, be thinking about this. This could be coming on the horizon. It's just an opportunity for you to stop. It's like a writing prompt. It's a way for you to stop and think about that for a second and then take a note. What if turf goes away? What would I do
if turf goes
if
away? I think a good replacement for it would be Enclave.
Okay.
Yeah, because if my turf cracks, if I lose like my influence over the area around my club would be the only thing I have left, and that makes sense for it to become my Enclave.
But it would be a mythos enclave. So instead of having a turf, you would flip it around and you would begin your Dracula's castle, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
sounds cool.
So you lose the mafia, more of the mafia stuff goes away, and more of the Dracul comes out. So likewise, you may try to push down that Dracula and cause one of those themes to fade into the background while you work more on taking back your turf or picking up a different kind of Logos theme entirely. And what would it be?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I've got
So
that in my bio now, so that would be interesting.
Excellent. So this is an excellent game for like the side note taking and writing little journals of what your character is thinking, because you have that moment in time where you may look back 6 months from now and go, I remember when we first started out, what was I thinking? What was my character thinking at that time? And how has that evolved over time? And that's a lot of fun in my opinion. In one of the things I like about this game is how fun that is to go back and look at how your character has developed and changed over time. All right, so we will finish with that. Now let's begin officially our next session, and we always begin that with an opening monologue. So Alexia, you volunteered to take a crack at it this week. Again, players will get better at this as we go along, all of this stuff, because this is just a very different kind of a game entirely that spends a lot of this kind of time and narrative focus. So you'll all get better at this as you go. So don't worry how you do it today, but you get to do it today and get the benefit of doing it. Go for it.
Right. If I had to describe tonight in one word, it would be unexpected. It started out about standard. Last checks of opening the club, going over reports, finished off with a nice chat with the boys in Elysium. Then there came the phone call. And after weeks of silence, we heard from our mysterious patron, asking us to investigate a murder across the river at a jazz club. I think it's a bit out of my territory, but if she's calling, it's probably important. So we go and check out this jazz club, something called the Washboard. The proprietor strikes me a bit inexperienced, but the place isn't too bad. And that's where the second unexpected happened, as it seems the victim we've come to investigate the death of turns out to be a nobody. Not even a regular at the club. Dies his first night. I think Xavier or one of the boys mentioned something about seeing them at the Elysium at some point. But there's really not much to this guy from first appearances. Aside from interaction with the night's performer. One Martha Ellis, another unexpected. From all descriptions we've been given, and strikes me as a possibly another psychic. And from the way things sound, she got some sort of reading on the victim, and invited him to a private performance once everyone else had left. And this is where he died. Seeing as she was the last one to see him, it's probably a good idea for us to talk to her. Even then, at the very least, if nothing else, she could be a useful recruit if her employment status ever changes. Now, I'm not one for poaching, but it's a possibility. Either way, she was the one to give us the description of the killer, who from what little could be given, strikes me as possibly from the industrial district. Good chance maybe one of the smaller gangs that hang out around there, given the facial tattoos. Unfortunately, though, it's hard to tell exactly how the person died. Though, given what we've been told, there's a good chance the killer himself was also psychic. Definitely not professional. Very sloppy. And I'll have to see if any of my informants can get me that report of the autopsy. And that's kind of it. That's how I'm
Good.
finishing it.
Excellent. All right, so run that move on your character sheet, and it will let you choose if you have more than one that are the least attentioned. Good. So you have
It just
blood and
randomly gave me
brutality.
the last. Yeah, it just gave
I don't
me
think it was.
one.
Yeah,
It didn't
yeah,
give
that
me
was the one that
action.
had the least attention.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So
I
it
didn't
just
know any of
added
them
it to
had
you.
any or missing any attention. I don't think any of them have attention. But I
Let's
guess it just
see.
randomly gave me one for that one.
Yeah, that didn't have any attention.
Yeah, none of them have
It didn't.
attention, so I guess it just randomly gave the last one attention.
Yeah, it usually pops up when you run it. Here, I'm going to run it again real quick. When you execute the move. No, it just did it again to you. I don't think that is not right.
Do I need
It
to
removed
do it
attention.
manually?
Oh, you did.
No, I
Okay.
removed. Yeah.
No, it just says when you do, see, last time I ran this, it pops up which theme would you like to give your attention to. It just lists all the ones that have the lowest amount of attention, which would be all of yours. I don't think you did any rolls that used any of your weaknesses or anything. That's the best way to get attention, is to use one of your weaknesses, or I trigger one of your weaknesses, and you'll get
So in
attention when
that-
I do that.
So I don't think that one would be something that would gain attention, maybe.
Okay. Which one? It doesn't. It doesn't
I
matter.
think-
You may choose which one you wish. Go ahead.
I think I will add it to turf because that seems to be the one that at least the monologue touched on, at least. Like the mentioning of possibly recruiting Martha would be something to do with his turf. So I think that one fits, at least.
All right, very good. Ocean Heights is mine. Okay, super. All right, so let's begin then with what it is you want to do next, where I've assumed, maybe incorrectly so, that you have kind of wrapped it up for now at the washboard. You have some leads that you may want to go take somewhere else. But you tell me, what do you want to do? Is there something you want to try to you have the name of Officer Das, who is kind of leading this investigation. And then you are going to see Martha the next day. Sammy said that he would ask her to come in and talk to you. So you have that kind of hooked up. What else?
I think I'm going to try and reach out to my informant network. See if I can get a hold of, maybe someone can get some idea of like the autopsy report or something along those lines. See if we can ascertain, see if there's any signs that would point us to how this guy died, or if there's like anything along those lines. I think until we can talk to Martha, that's our next lead.
Okay. Any thoughts that you have, Xavier?
Yeah, I wanted to see if I get up Jesse. So get information about Darnell. See who he's rolling with, to see if he ain't, as you said, doesn't seem special, but maybe there's something we don't know about him.
Okay. Okay. So then I want you to let's have you roll and investigate, and then Alexa, you can go ahead and set yours up too.
What?
Investigate?
Yes.
Is there I remember last time there was like oh, there it is. Never mind. An explanation for the moves. Yeah.
So my investigation sucks. So I was wondering if I could do a change the game to butter up Jesse a little bit, so I can use an extra tag.
Yep. So who's Jesse? Who's Jesse again?
Jesse was the guy who rolls with Darnell. I did a change the game to see if I knew anyone who knew Darnell, and I got the story tag Jesse rolls with Darnell. And now I want to be able to use that, but also use or maybe use that one. I don't know how it works, but I want to befriend Darnell, Jesse, and maybe try to get him like buttered up 3 or whatever.
So every tag that you can apply to investigating gives you a +1 to your die roll. And every weakness will give you a -1 to your die roll. So if you're just going to look and say, well, I'm going to use Jesse rolls with Darnell, got it. And then maybe also...
so could I use easy to talk to and lower inhibitions on my investigation then?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
I mean, so this would be, maybe you're going to get Jesse on the phone, and you're going to use some of your, where's your lower inhibitions? Where is that?
God of Wine.
Okay, so you're using now some mythos powers. So maybe even through the telephone, you're going to kind of loosen a little bit of the lower the inhibitions, kind of just in the way you're talking to them, right?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So I go to investigate and hit execute move, and then I choose, or do I choose and then?
Either order is fine. Yep.
Okay. So easy. How does this work?
As soon as you hit the execute move button, it will pop up a dialog. You can move that off to the side a little bit and then click around your character sheet.
Oh yeah.
To do that, whichever you like. Otherwise, you'll click, and then hit execute move, and it'll pop up all your choices into that little dialog box.
Not burnt. Right. Oh, there we go. Okay. Execute move. Easy to talk to. All right.
All right, so now I'm going to look, and I'm going to see, I agree with easy to talk to. Do I want to put emotional burnout or temporary madness?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm actually going to hinder you a little bit with temporary madness. Because they're upset that Darnell is dead, and you kind of loosen them up a little bit with the inhibitions, right?
Oh yeah.
And
so
as you lower those inhibitions, they get emotional, right?
that makes
So-
perfect sense, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and confirm that, and now you can, it pops it back to you, and you can hit roll,
All right.
and we'll see how that happens. Wow, there's a couple of dice. Whew.
Oh, there we go.
And
Got 10.
there's- All right.
What? I don't
So-
even know how to read these. What the heck?
I know, right? A 6 and a 2. I don't know either. Luckily, it shows up in the chat card because I have another player that uses those in another game. I'm like, I don't even know what that says. But good thing I can read the side. All right. So with that, you have, it shows you that you've succeeded with a 10 and a power of 2. So the reason you have a power of 2 is because you have a -1 to offset one of your +1s, leaving 2 +1s. So a net +2 to your roll. You rolled an 8. A 10 is a strong hit. So you get 2 clues to spend, which just means you get to ask me 2 questions. I'm going to answer them for you to the best of my
Hey.
ability.
I just realized that the guy who left, I have a help and a hurt for. So now I don't have any help. I only have 1 help left, and that's for Mothman. He's not here either.
Excuse me. Whew.
Well, you can take one from me if you want. Or
Maybe
Troy.
we'll figure that out by the end of the session. You'll get some. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the help and the hurt's very handy in that it's like juice just waiting to be spent. Okay. Yeah, and you'll get the hang of that term as we go too. Every time you change the game, you get juice, and you spend that juice to make tags and statuses and stuff like that. All right. So you got attention to your God of Wine theme. Great for using some of your mythos influence right over the phone. I'm assuming you called Jesse.
Yeah.
Maybe you went to go see them in person, but I'm assuming you called Jesse. All right.
Either one, I
So-
don't know. Either one works.
Okay. All right. So the way I do the clue system is I don't use the clue system. I think it's klutzy to have to type in a question that you're asking and then me to type in an answer to that question, or even copy and paste something in. Kind of just brings the game to a typing halt. And I don't want to have to do that. So what I will do is I will delete the cards as I answer your question. But this shows that you have a question, and then you can bank a clue if you can't think of another question. Like if you have only one question you can think of, you can bank that other clue, but you have to type in that it's a conversation over the phone with Jesse about learning about Darnell, right? And then you can spend that later, okay, if you need to. Otherwise, it goes away after a while.
Well, obvious question to ask is if Darnell has gotten himself into any actions or groups or gangs, or whatnot that would or that would make somebody actually want to harm him in any way. You start going with
Okay.
the wrong crowd, or start hanging out with new people, or as you start working for a drug dealer, or whatever.
Right. Okay. Well, Jesse was very easy for you to find. They are actually, Jesse is a co-worker of Darnell's as well. And honestly, all of Darnell's friends are in shock. And they ascribe his death to an undiagnosed cardiac condition, apparently. They tell you that he didn't hang with any gangs or groups, and as far as they know, he wasn't, you know, maybe he's not on social media very much either. I guess, wait, we're in the 80s. There isn't a lot of that going on.
He's not on the BBC chats or those
He
forums.
doesn't do computers. He doesn't even go out much to meet with groups or anything like that. He's not in any clubs or anything. He's shy. He's meek, and he never mentioned being in any need of help. Or in bad health. He didn't seem to be in any of those things. So, but obviously, word has it that he died of a heart attack or something. But you know, maybe that's just the way the cookie crumbled for him. So,
Okay. And my second question would be something along the lines. I know this sounds weird, but has Darnell ever done anything that just makes you feel unease? Kind of like how forgot what we called the normal people would see the rift, but it's like you've just so noticed anything kind of weird, kind of just different, but then you just explained it away as but something that just made you feel odd or off.
gotcha. Okay. You kind of talked to Jesse a little bit more, a little bit deeper, a little more personal. She says that she's not sure, but she kind of caught the vibe from him that maybe he was just really lonely. He seemed like he was just really extremely lonely.
Okay.
You know, like he had a work face that he put on. And, you know, they all work for an advertising firm. And so, you know, but you can tell that, you know, it just was getting to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just lonely, just lonely.
Okay. I guess before I hang up, I have my condolences and tell Jesse next time they're at the bar, next round's on me. Free round of drinks for
Okay.
you and Darnell's friends. Sorry for your loss.
Okay. She thanks you. You could tell she was kind of weeping during the call as well. So she says thanks, and you end your call.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So you noticed I deleted your clue cards. You asked both questions. That's good. All right. So Alexi, I see you've disconnected from the VTT, but what do you have?
I don't think I'm disconnected. Did I?
Yeah,
Let
it shows
me
you're
reload it.
not there. Yep. Okay, you're back. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, I just had to reload, I guess.
Little flaky
For
tonight. Sorry.
some reason.
Mm-hmm. All right. So do you have your investigate figured out what you want to do?
Okay, so first thing I want to do is change the game. I want to try and basically create a. You want to be a story tag, I guess. of someone who is one of my informants who works in the morgue, who might be able to get a hold of a copy of the coroner's report
Okay.
of the autopsy. So
Yep.
that's creating a story tag, right?
Yep. That's a change the game. Yep.
Okay. So I'm gonna roll that. Let's see, to change game, execute. Let's see. This one's going to involve. Let's see.
Oh, Xavier's trying to help you out.
All right, I'm going to go informants everywhere, which fits. I'm going to go with sympathetic population. This particular informant is like has family members who live in the Heights, so he would probably someone who knows my reputation. This is probably outside of Ocean Heights, so I'm not going to use that tag. Let's see.
Yeah, I decided to help because it's about knowing somebody. I think that's one thing Xavier's good at, is knowing people.
I'm going to go. I'll hold off on that one. I think. Yeah, I think those are the only two.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Cool. So I have. Is that a total of -1? -2. Okay. Why do I have a minus to my roll?
So you
Oh, why did
you
it
right
change
clicked?
from a minus
I
to
think
a
you right clicked, and so it did a negative for those because they could.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So I've just I clicked on them again. I just left clicked on them and it fixed it. All right, so go ahead and roll it.
So I have a +2 to that.
Okay, so if you change the game, yeah, you have 2 juice that you've created. So a 9 is not a strong hit, but a hit still. That's a success.
So I create.
When you get 2 juice, yeah, so you have 2 juice, you can either create 2 story tags or you can create a story tag.
And give or reduce a status? What is that?
Yeah, so a tag and a status are 2 different things. So a tag is more like a noun, and a status is more like an adjective. So a status is something that happens to you or to someone else, or you're removing a story tag, so a tier. So those are things that can be of increasing intensity, like bruised, broken arm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Dislocated shoulder.
The player screen now. That makes sense. So yeah, I don't know if that's really something I want to do right now. That seems more like a combat thing. Burning a power tag or story tag? What does burning a tag do?
It's a good question. No, those are things that I do to you as a consequence. Okay. I can take away a tag by burning it. That's one of my moves that I get to make is like deny them something they want, right? So I can take away one of your tags temporarily, and you can unburn that tag later through downtime or healing or whatever, right? So in this case,
it's another thing that I can do to another character or another
no,
enemy.
no, No. So really what you're supposed to do with change the game, this is like one of the absolute core moves. So when you go to change the game, let's see, it's on player
Yeah,
moves
I get
one.
that. I'm just asking what the particular one does. Like, why
So
is that an option for me? It seems, based on your description, to be a negative thing.
So you could, it looks like that you get to burn a power tag or a story tag that you don't want. Like if you have a
Okay.
tag on you that you don't want, or a story, a power tag or story tag that you don't want available, you can take that away as part of changing the game. Or you can give or reduce a status, one per tier. So change the game, like you're gonna bandage somebody up, you're gonna try to get rid of some of their harm status, and you can do that. So that's a little more like if you're going to try to help somebody else. In this case, you're helping you. So you can create a story tag that you can use in your next roll. Or you can get rid of a story tag, for example, that you don't want used. So like if there was a scene tag out there, but there isn't any right now, but you'll see when things start to pack up, you may want to like
Yeah,
start changing the field a little bit, right?
makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got 2 juice, but I've only got one thing I want to use it on.
Okay. So you could create 2 tags. You can't, because you didn't roll 10 or higher, you can't spend your juice to do other things. Like if you roll 10 or higher, then you could scale up the effect or prolong the effect, make it last the whole scene, or instead of just a one-time use thing or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, just create a couple of tags.
What would I use the second? What should I make the second tag?
You don't have to, but if you like, you don't have to. If you just want to,
What
you're
would
trying
it? What would
ultimately.
fit this situation outside of like
Well, why don't
having an
you
ally?
the name of, and this will be a temporary person that you could text. So it could be Guido, the uh, body washer, whatever, right? And it could be, or Guido, the assistant, and then also you could say autopsy report. You could have
Okay,
2
that works.
tags.
Okay, I'll make the second tag the autopsy report, and I'll make the
Hmm.
first tag my informant. Let's go with Marcus, the coroner's assistant.
Okay. And then roll your investigate with all the tags that you have created.
Where do I and I add the story tags down here?
Yep, that's exactly
Okay.
right.
Yeah. Marcus, the coroner's assistant. Temporary tag. Okay. And then second one, autopsy reports.
Yep. Don't spend too much time on these because they are going to disappear as soon as you use them.
Yep. One single use tag. All right. And then we
Mhm.
go with investigate. We will add the autopsy report, coroner's assistant, uh, informants everywhere would apply because I'm using an informant.
If you think you might use someone else besides the one you created in your tag,
Right, I need someone to deliver me the autopsy report once he gets a copy.
okay,
Because we don't have like phones, so he can't like text it or email it to me.
right.
You can
Mhm.
fax it.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know if I want to connect us that way. Someone
You
might
know,
be
you get
suspicious and faxing it to some
yeah,
random dude who owns a nightclub.
and then you start getting pages of all black, solid
Yeah.
black, or trips to Hawaii, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think I think careful and measured might apply here
Okay.
because I know
Okay.
how to use the right amount of force to get what I want from people. And yeah, so I'll roll that. Yep. Check, double check makes sense, I guess.
All right. There you go.
Hell yeah.
That's a great roll.
Yeah, 14.
So you have 3 power to this, so you get 3 clues. What questions do you want to ask?
All right, I want to ask if I guess first question would be, how did the victim die?
Okay. So the coroner report says Darnell Fox died of unexplained heart failure.
Okay. I think my second question would be, uh, hmm. Oh no, I lost the attention in turf. So what happened? How does that work if attention disappears? Or is that a...
It does not disappear unless
Okay.
you edit your sheet and you take it away. Now, what
Yeah, I
will
haven't...
happen though? So what you're saying, turf?
Yeah, on turf, the little
Oh yeah.
notification at the
So
bottom
you
said
had 3,
current
but you
0.
notice next. Yeah. So look next to the word
Yeah.
attention. What does it say?
Oh, I've got a +1.
So that means that
So,
you have a theme improvement you can do.
oh, cool. I'll deal with that after this then.
Mm-hmm.
Second question, I guess, would be, based on the autopsy report, was there... He said he died of unexplained heart failure.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes.
does was there any... does the report mention any next of kin?
No next of kin.
Okay. Was there anything unexplained left on the victim's clothing around the chest area?
Uh,
I'm seeing if maybe the person who
no.
touched him left anything behind. So nothing left behind. Okay.
Okay.
Indicates any physical harm or injury. Yeah, it sounds very much like a psychic attack. All right, that's all my questions. I didn't get a
To
lot
fill
to
in
answer. Yeah.
some of what I recall you learning last time as well. I'll put some of those in the chat as well for you, just so we kind of have them together.
Let's see. See what these improvements look like. You gain 3. At the beginning of every session, you gain 3 clues representing your monitoring of your turf. Hmm. That's interesting. King of my castle is interesting.
Okay. So, where else would you like to go? Who would you like to talk to?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Field of Pulse because that one seems to fit best right now.
Are you leveling up?
Oh, my improvement, yeah. That or King of my castle.
What does King of your castle do?
When you choose a core move that best represents your style of rulership over your turf. Whenever you make this core move in your turf, it's dynamite.
Dynamite means out of 12 or higher, you get a dynamite effect, which there's some extra that can happen.
So if I with that improvement, I can pick a core move, and whenever I'm in my turf, if I roll 12 or higher on that move, then I get an extra effect.
You should pick hit with all you got. Make you dangerous.
There's another one that works for that as well. When someone is in your turf, it's called You're in My Turf now. When someone is in your turf, it constitutes as having a clear shot, so you can always hit with all you've got.
That'd be fun.
Right now, Field of Pulse seems to fit mostly because of the informant network. And the fact that I literally just used my informant network to get this attention.
It's always good to go with the narrative upgrade, I think.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Field of Pulse. Might not be helpful right now, given we're neither in our and neither are we in my turf, nor is it the beginning of the session. But it's narratively fitting.
Well, for our purposes here, it seems like this should be these investigations and stuff can have been done from your um,
Yeah,
your
I'm
hotel, right?
imagining.
You've
Yeah,
left
I'm
the washboard
imagining.
and gone back.
Yeah, I'm imagining like doing this like on the drive back,
Hmm.
like over like I'm like how some like limousines might have like a phone in there. Or maybe he could have one of those like old style big block radio phones that he uses to do business while he's on
Hmm.
traveling from place to place.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm kind of making this calling the coroner's office from there. And then I think the next thing we have left to do, I mean, unless you have anything else.
I have nothing. Talking to his friends was unfortunately looks like a dead end.
But
Yeah. Next person we have, the next lead we have is Martha. And it doesn't seem to have any next of kin, so next lead is Martha. Then maybe if nothing pans out there, we might just have to go see about investigating the industrial district, see if we can track down someone with facial tattoos. Also, this seems like a personal attack, considering he just came in, killed Darnell, and left.
Yeah, it does seem personal. The question is why? It doesn't seem to be business related.
So,
The other thing
yeah.
is this is a Siler type
And
situation.
considering who he is, or like considering everything we've learned about Darnell, it doesn't seem like he'd have very many enemies. That could either be a good thing or a bad thing for our investigation.
Okay,
Might
then
make it so.
it'd be
Yeah,
easier to try to track them down and learn about them.
yeah. You know, like the friends you talked to didn't mention anything about him having any enemies, anyone who didn't like him,
No,
did they?
he's a shy, meek loner.
And he's got no next of kin. So yeah, I think our best bet is to talk to Martha, because if there are any enemies, the best option here. I mean, I think this could be a long shot, but if there's no other leads as to why someone would hate him, the only connecting part might be Martha. Like maybe someone was trying to stop her from doing whatever she was gonna do to help this guy out. And then
Well,
just straight up disappeared afterwards.
that's one thing I can think of.
Yeah. So I think our next lead is to talk to Martha, and then after that, depending on how much information we get from her, any additional information we can get from her, might make it easier to try and track down the guy with the facial tattoos. I'd say one of the things we need to ask her is if she can describe what the tattoos look like, because she
Yeah,
was the closest to the killer at the time of the victim's death.
and also figure out why she singled Darnell out to talk to or sing
Yeah.
to him.
That,
Was it?
yeah. Yeah, that was kind of the implication.
There has to be something about it.
They
Didn't
were out
really
on the
give.
stage when they were doing it. She
Didn't
waited
really,
till everyone else had left,
yeah.
and they were on the stage when Darnell got killed. So, yeah. So, yeah. I think we head back to the hotel and wait until we can talk to Martha.
Okay. All right. So the day rolls by. You guys at the next day in the afternoon, you guys head back to the washboard to meet Martha there. Before you leave to go, you get a phone call.
Who?
Oh, I'm waiting. Let's see. Hold on. I think I can do this. Can I do this? Does this work?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Who's getting this phone
Yeah, which
call?
phone? Is it at the bar or is it at his club?
It'll be probably at the bar, because I think that's where all of you tend to meet up when you're doing your night shifters thing.
Yeah.
All right. I answer the phone. Hello. Xavier speaking. Name my bar again. At the Celestial Vista.
Yeah, so on the other end of the phone, you hear some kind of stuttering. Someone is the phone is muffled. They're talking, and then they realize that you've picked up. So they finally answer and they say, "Oh, oh, it's actually Sammy Jefferson Jr. on the phone, and he is very upset. He says, the killer got to her. He jumped Martha Ellis. I'm telling you, she made it through somehow. I don't know how, but she's roughed up. You guys better come on down here quick. I'm gonna probably have to send her to the hospital."
All right. We'll be right there. And I go get Alexa.
Alexi. Yeah. The killer got to her. He jumped. That's not good. But could be good. She might have gotten a better look at him this time. Though there is the question of what. There is one little issue. The fact that he roughed her up didn't kill her. He managed to kill Darnell with a single touch.
Well, partly could be that she was more on her toes.
Maybe.
Before anyone got killed, wasn't looking for anything. Maybe she was able to protect herself somehow.
By the way, do you have some way of getting to the... Out of character, do you have some way of getting to the washboard on your own?
I have a friend, but if you can give me a ride, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Alexei would offer you a ride in his car. Okay. So I guess, yeah, we make our way to the washboard.
All right, when you arrive, you find an ambulance behind the washboard building. It's kind of in the alley, right between the buildings. And in the back of the ambulance sits Martha Ellis, the first time you've seen her. And she is covered in a blanket. She is both shaken and a little inebriated. So she is being checked out by some paramedics. What do you do? Sammy, of course, is out there doting over her, making sure that she's okay and that she's trying to calm her down, but she's still quite shaken. What do you do?
Um,
Yeah, I
can I
think
help calm?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Can I help calm her down?
Sure.
Uh,
I'm just
so
putting you on the board so that we have characters and statuses just kind of out here. I'll delete you guys later. So let's see. Oh yeah, Jesse. We're done with Jesse. Okay.
so would that be a change the game to try to calm her down?
Yeah, you're going to try to remove the shaken status.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to remove this shaken status. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
go up to her and go. Everything's gonna be all right. We got ya. I'm gonna use my aura of joy and my captivating speaker and my easy to talk to. See if I can calm her down.
Okay, so I am going to use the fact that she's a little drunk and a little shaken
Ooh,
to go up against you and mm,
you good roll then.
yep, yep. So I'll give you all three of those with no. All right. See how your change the game goes.
Come on, Dionysus.
Come on.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Nice. So with the nat 10, your +1 power works well, and you get an extra juice because you rolled a 10 or higher. So you have 2 juice, and you can do any of these on a 1-to-1 basis, spending those juices. So give her reduce a status. 1 tier per point of juice would get rid of her shaken status completely,
I will do
if
that.
that's what you want to do.
So burn a power tag I would check then?
No, you're not using juice. No.
Oh.
So on your tag, you can give or reduce a status.
Oh, I see it. I'll click that one.
Perfect. So it's 1 tier point per point of juice.
So I'd get rid of.
So-
I use both of them to get rid of both the -2 and shaken.
Correct.
Got it.
Yep, correct. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of shaken. And so now you can tell she's still just a little tipsy, which is perfect for you.
Exactly.
That might have actually, in hindsight, that might have played a plus in what you were trying to do. But
If there's
yeah,
one
so
thing Xavier knows how to do is talk to drunk people.
that's right. For sure. All right. So you've managed to calm her down enough that she is now willing to talk. So with City of Mist, we can just simply look at this conversation in the meta and have you roll your investigation with tags, or we can role play it. How would you like?
Maybe both. How would we do? Yeah.
Oh, you could do both. I mean, it's just when you get stuck, you may want to then try to investigate and see what you can get out of it. Otherwise, I can try to get you in close.
Miss Ellis. What happened? We were told you were attacked by the killer.
I was, honey. Sugar, the man, he ran right into my dressing room, and as I was getting ready for some practice, but he ran right in there and he started to attack me. Why, he even had a gun.
Did you get a look at him? At his face?
Yeah, covered in tattoos it was.
Do you know what the tattoos looked like?
Tattoos, son, I don't know. They're just, ink on his face. In patterns and stuff.
Or are they sharp patterns?
Like one of them bikers or, gangs. I mean, who has face tattoos anyways?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, honey.
Was he wearing the same things as last time?
Basically, he was wearing jeans and a long black hoodie, and
And
he
you,
was, had boots on.
you say he had the gun.
Exactly, and I jumped at him as best I could. It was my life on the line. So I grabbed his arm and tried to get the gun away from him. He's not that strong. He's kind of skinny, I think, underneath them clothes. But we wrestled around a bit, just wrestling here and wrestling there. And I finally got the gun away from him and I tried to take a shot at him with his own gun. And he ran off. I think I hit him.
Did you leave the gun in your dressing room?
Oh, yeah, I don't like guns. But, I had no choice. I had no choice.
Oh, honey, how's your heart feeling? I know it must be racing, but did you
Oh,
notice anything?
just rethinking how all this went is getting me excited again. I just, I'm feeling kind of faint. But, yeah, I think he had a personal interest in me. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's just trying to get rid of any eyewitnesses to the death of that other man. But he was certainly.
There was that other man. Can you tell us about him? Was anything special about him? I heard you sung to him.
Oh, that poor boy. I just noticed as I was singing that he was just especially sad looking, just downright pathetic. So, when the show ended and people were still milling about, um, I I invited him to, when everyone was gone, he could come talk to me and tell me what was wrong. But that's when that other man ran on stage, and he was having words at that Darnell boy. And I screamed. He wasn't supposed to be there. And that's when the others came a running, and he took off. He took off. But as he did, he pointed at that poor boy, and that boy clutched his chest and fell right over dead.
Oh, Martha, you're so sweet. Notice that boy looking all sad and taking special interest in him. If you could do us a great favor and think back, can you think of any of those words that they were talking to each other? Anything that really stood out?
It just seemed like I was in shock, honestly, but it seemed like they was arguing about something. I don't know. Maybe that boy owed him money or something. I don't know. Could have been. Tell me, why are you guys? What is it that has you interested in this poor boy and this crazy tattoo man in the hoodie? I couldn't help noticing your accent there. I didn't catch your name, but you don't seem to be from around here.
Well, I am actually just from Ocean Heights.
Wow, it seems a world away when you say it.
It,
My parents were immigrants.
Ah, but I like your accent
we
anyway.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. As to your question, we have been looking into Darnell's unfortunate end. You could
That
consider us
poor
private
boy.
investigators.
Oh, that sounds intriguing.
Oh, it is very exciting. You
Like
should join us.
like that other fella with the fancy car. What's his name? Magnum. I like it.
It's a great show.
You got a gun? I don't like guns.
I don't have a gun, but that guy, Alexi might.
Well,
I don't
how are
believe
you
in
going to
guns.
protect yourself? You find this man.
I protect myself
Hey,
with my
I
smooth.
know how.
You going to smile your way out of it?
It's got me this far.
And if his smile
Indeed, I can
falters,
see.
I can always step in.
Okay,
If the
well,
smile fails, I will step up.
I see.
But I assure you, we will do our utmost to find this person, the person who hurt you and killed Darnell.
Yes,
You
a
have my word.
pretty little like you should not have to deal with such fright. We don't need that stuff in our neighborhood.
A second task.
If you can think of anything else, come up to the Celestial Vista. Drinks on me.
Oh, honey, I'm so busy. I don't think I can get that side of the river. But
2
thank
drinks
you.
on me.
I, uh, honestly, I keep a bottle nearby, just in case, you know.
We got the good stuff.
Mm. Oh, so do I. So do
I
I.
bet you do, honey. I bet you do.
Well, you get better. Focus on resting and surviving your wounds. We'll deal
Thank
with
you.
the rest. And with that, I think Alexi's gonna start heading for the washboard. Sorry. Yeah, the washboard. See if we can get a look at that gun.
Okay. All right. So you guys head down into the washboard. You get Sammy's permission. He nods. You can head back down the back stairs. They're open. That's how they were able to. They actually took her out the elevator, and then out the back to the. Sammy wanted to make sure that there was not, any news people around to see an ambulance. You know, sooner or later someone's going to show up, but he's trying to wrap things up a little. So he excuses you to go down, and you can go down and look at the Martha's dressing room. So
I'll look around for the whatever gun was used.
okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up the scene that has where Martha's dressing room is, which is right over here, kind of next to the elevator. Okay, so there's kind of this green room right here, and then there's Martha's private room, and there's just kind of storage, props, all that kind of stuff that goes on over here. Some old audio equipment and whatnot. But then there's Martha's dressing room. Okay, so Martha's dressing room. Okay. Looking at Martha's dressing room, you find that there are let's see, there is a table and a chair and broken glass on the floor. You can smell some Southern Comfort. It has a bottle is broken on the ground, and glass also. There's broken glass from that glass that shattered on the ground as well when the table was overturned, in signs of an obvious struggle. So things are messed up around the room. Looks like they may have, gotten around the room. It's not a very big room, but they may have gotten around that room a little bit, wrestling with that gun. And on the table where she does her makeup, kind of a desk like set up with a big mirror with lights all around it. There's a couple of lights that are broken, and the mirror is got a shatter spot where maybe someone's elbow or head hit it and it cracked the mirror. You can see that on that makeup table where some of the makeup's been knocked off onto the ground, etc. There is a small revolver there, just kind of like a Saturday Night Special. Like a
I'm
38.
going to take out a handkerchief from my coat pocket and use it to pick up the gun without touching any of the metal.
Okay.
Getting a look at the gun, can I tell what type of gun it is?
Yeah, it's just like a little snub-nosed 38 Special. A little revolver.
So I'd probably be able to ascertain like what kind of bullets it uses.
Yeah, 38 caliber. And so typical, kind of a little self-defense, like a backup weapon for a cop kind of thing, would fit on an ankle holster. That it's a smaller gun, shoots something bigger than a 22, but nowhere near a 9, maybe close to a 9mm, somewhere in that range of bullet size, 38 caliber, but not a 40 or 45 caliber bullet at all. Smaller kind of bullet.
38 caliber seems about right.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly right. Yep. 38 Special. And so it has been fired. You can smell the gunpowder, the burned gunpowder.
I'm gonna make a clue for that. Don't mind. Yeah. Source would be what? Source and method, just kind of.
So the source is, what is the source of your information? What are you getting it from? So this would be
That would be probably from my training as a hitman, being able to recognize weapons and what kind of bullets they shoot.
Yeah, sure. So pretty obvious.
You're saying something about what method was?
Method is, what method are you using to gain the information?
Oh,
right.
The pistol itself.
You're like recording a clue. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm recording this as a clue because it's useful information to keep track of.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of hold on to that. I could try and see if I have any contacts who could get this fingerprinted. See if the guys in, is that a thing in the 80s yet? I think so.
Yeah.
To do what?
Been around.
Yeah. If they have a thing, like a archive of fingerprinted people.
Sure. Sure.
So I'm going to use, let's see, change the game to try and, I guess, manifest an informant who could get this, or someone that I know that can get this gun fingerprinted. And I think I will go with. Probably...
How are you going about doing this? What is it you're doing to see if you can get your Rolodex of informants open?
What am I doing?
Yeah. Probably right now you're walking around Martha's dressing room with a gun and a handkerchief.
yeah, I'm going to basically kind of wrap it up in the handkerchief, kind of pocket it, keep it from being from my own getting my own fingerprints on the gun. And I'm going to, with that in hand, I'm going to go back to the car
Um,
and
before
try
we
and
get,
call up someone.
I guess,
Huh?
curious before we get back to the car, if possible, could I look beyond the rift mist? 'Cause
Yeah.
we had
This is. Mm-hmm.
we had a conversation with Martha. She might be special. That guy might be special. I was wondering if maybe like my connection with Dionysus could help give me a clue or two. And I would think my
Sure.
ritual would be going behind the bar, getting out a $20 bill, placing it down, and grabbing a bottle of booze and start chugging.
All right. Okay. So what we're looking here is, let's see. All right. So you're kind of tapping it. You're going back to the hotel behind the bar and
No, he
sitting
has a bar
down.
No,
here.
Oh, that bar at the washboard. Gotcha.
Bar right there. I'm just gonna pay for. I have money on me for my tips.
Yeah.
I'm just place
Yeah, no
down the
problem.
money.
You totally can just leave some cash on the thing and just start taking a drink.
Yeah.
You're being honest. All right. Yeah, so let's do roll beyond the mist. This is where you roll plus your mythos. So there's a special move on your character sheet called Look Beyond the Mist.
Where's that at? Special move. Look beyond the mist.
Yep.
Execute move?
And just do execute the move. All right, so with an 8, I'll give you, I can choose to either give you a consequence or maybe more vague answers. So what question, how would you like to propose your question?
I guess I'm kind of looking to see if there's anything mystical, as a fun word, mystical, about what's going on. Um, does Martha have like enrapturing powers, or does that dude have the power to kill someone? Based on like what we've heard, and asking the
Okay.
mist god of Dionysus.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so you are kind of tapping into the godhood that seems to be flowing through you to try to discern what the hell is going on at the washboard, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of slouch back behind the bar, you sit down. You're familiar with the floor of the bar and those mats that have the little holes all through them and whatnot, right? So you kind of just sit down on one of those and you close your eyes and you just kind of sink into your lowball cup of bourbon that you are just like taking one big shot. And it kind of go, and you shake your face a little bit there, and then you begin first by smelling it before you can see it. You smell damp vegetation, rotting vegetation, like a bog. And as you kind of look around, you kind of feel like this whole washboard almost goes away, and you're now sitting kind of on a fallen mossy log, the Spanish moss hanging down from the trees, and you can see the stagnant water among the grass, just lumps of grass here and there, and the peat moss and all that stuff. And it's very dark. It's there's kind of maybe even some fog, a real low fog covering the ground that is of course muddy and got potholes of water and all that kind of stuff. And you feel now after you kind of take in the smell, you hear the sounds. There's just muffled by the fog, just sounds of like maybe a frog or some mosquitoes, bzz, 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 you know, kind of flying around here and there. And then it settles on you. A very deep, emotional loneliness. You feel very alone out in the middle of nowhere. And then you hear an old, sad tin whistle tune, kind of playing far, far, far away, barely making its way through the fog and the trees and the dampness of the area. And then you hear really close to you, hello? Hello?
Hello?
Are you okay? Are you okay? And the swamp just vanishes, and you're leaning on the bar in front of you, kind of staring toward the stage. And suddenly you're back in the washboard, and there is a woman police officer standing on the other side of the bar looking at you. She has the little red dot right above, you know, her third eye on her forehead, but she does have the policeman's hat and the blue uniform and the badge and the gun and, you know, the billy club and all that stuff. And she says, are you okay?
I'm great, honey. I'm right in my element.
You look like you might have been somewhere else.
Just contemplating existence.
I see. Perhaps that kind of contemplation should be done more sober than not.
If you find out a way to do that, you can come talk to me.
You are not one of the bartenders here. Who are you?
I'm a bartender somewhere else.
Ah, yes. And so she pulls a notebook out of her pocket, and it has a pencil with it. She pulls that out and flips open her little book. My name is Officer Chavi Das. What is your name again?
Xavier Sterling, ma'am.
Xavier Sterling. And where is it you bartend, sir?
Celestial Vista.
Ah, Celestial Vista. It's, oh, is that the place at the crosstown? Just over the other side of the river, at the Ocean Heights, yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Interesting. What brings you here in the afternoon? The club is not open.
Friend of the owner. Just needed a drink.
Oh, I see. How do you know, Mr. Jefferson?
Everybody knows me, ma'am.
Oh, I'm looking forward to being one of those people. So,
Depends. Where do you party? What kind of parties do you like going to, ma'am?
I go to different kind of parties than I think you go to. So,
It's fun.
Perhaps fun is a subjective state, no? So I think I would like to ask you a few more questions. How can I contact you later? What's your phone number?
555-5555.
See how? Well, what an interest. Lucky you, all fives. Good thing that was not in a slot machine. So, who are you here with? Are you here alone?
No. Never alone, ma'am. Everyone's my friend.
Well, what brought you here today again?
Here
A
to see
friend
my
of the owner, but what?
Here to see my friend.
It's a very odd time with Martha upstairs on the street, in an ambulance.
Yeah.
What do you?
And
Yeah,
you
what
wouldn't
do
want
you
to
know
drink
about
af-
that?
And you wouldn't want to drink after seeing that poor shaken woman?
Perhaps.
That was
Who
very
else?
disturbing, ma'am. Very disturbing. I just had to get
Yes.
something to calm my nerves.
Who
She could
else
have
is with
died.
you?
So I was contemplating my existence.
Hmm.
So sad.
Okay. Uh, what do you know about what happened in Martha's dressing room? I am looking to find out more about that.
All I know that she was attacked.
Hmm.
Whatever she was rambling out upstairs.
So
Tried to
it
calm her
wasn't you
down.
that attacked her. You didn't attack her, no?
Oh, I don't attack people, ma'am.
I'm not
Unless you,
accusing you.
unless you consider a double vodka an attack. I do make
For
strong drinks at the Celestial Vista if you're ever interested.
for some, I think a strong drink is a preference, but for me, I like the truth. So tell me, what do you know so far about what's been going on here? That's some troubling things. Troubling things.
All I know is unfortunately somebody died and someone attacked our friend up there. It's very unfortunate. I'm assuming
So
you're on
what
the
do you?
job, so you probably don't want to drink.
No, I am on the clock. So, interesting. Okay, well, Xavier, um, what um, what do you know about the man who died here a couple nights ago?
All I know is he has some friends that are very sad. I've seen him at the bar a couple times.
Oh, you've seen him a couple of times.
He's at the bar.
What can you tell me about him? Sure.
All I know is he doesn't talk much.
He certainly doesn't talk at all now. So,
Ooh, that was insensitive, ma'am.
no, it is the very sad consequence of a killer. I believe that he was killed. Do you?
I believe he's dead. And then there's someone who got into an argument with him, is what I understand.
An argument? What was that about?
I have no idea. I just know what I read in the paper. Freddie got in an argument and
Well,
fell and had a heart attack.
you've
He was
heard the
killed.
sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. You've heard that, I'm sure.
I've had.
So how do you think this
Something I know
argument?
about being a bartender is words can hurt very much. And I've seen many people's lives destroyed by words, ma'am.
But do they kill?
I would love to know.
She's watching you very carefully. Like studying you.
Okay. Do I roll something like sneak around?
Well, sneak around. So this is the funny thing. That would be to try to go unnoticed in some way, right?
Yeah.
So sneak around. Let's see. Sneak around is on player moves 2. When you
Oh.
use your abilities to act secretly or deceptively.
Okay,
So maybe more likely, are you trying just to get away from her?
yeah, at this point, I don't want this conversation to continue.
Okay. All right. So you could, I guess, role play to shut the conversation down. Or you could, guess you might be able to go toe to toe with her to overcome her, right? To get out of the line of questioning, like struggle for control.
Go toe to toe.
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
Verbal combat.
verbal combat. And I'll use a little bit of my mythos, see if I can get her to like me. How does that work? Captivating speaker, easy to talk to. Everyone have fun tonight, and I love you.
I'm going to add emotional burnout, especially after like leaning into your mythos.
Mm-hmm.
So, captivating speaker to try to outdo her in words, easy to talk to. I think that might almost play against you. Well, maybe you could use that to still kind of get to everybody have fun tonight. You want to just take it off of that subject and move it to something else, and then
Yeah.
try to be endearing.
Basically.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, man, that does not look good.
So that's a partial success. Wait, no. A 6 is a failure. Yeah, so I get to make a hard move. So for you, sir, I am going to instead put you on the spot. So this means that you now have a status of pressured.
Oh no.
Where does that go under? Does that show up under story tag?
I just gave it to you.
Okay.
So you are pressured 2. You are on the spot. She now wants to know why you're involved, who got you involved, why did Sammy call you? The police are investigating. And then she wants to know your feelings about the police. Are you do you have something against police? Do you think they can't do their job? Like all over, you don't want to have this kind of questioning, and she just poured it on. So we're going to add her here. She is also very alert. Sammy, I think we can have him outside. Cam's not there, so I'm just going to move these guys off the board. They may come in later. All right. So, all right. So you're feeling she is like turned up the heat. You trying to manipulate that a little bit, as like she picked up on it right away, and so she doubled down and really started digging with the questioning. And she hardly gives you a chance to answer one question before she's drilling in deeper with another question. All right, Alexa, you are out back at the car and you are trying to see if someone can come get the gun. Is that what you're going to do?
Essentially, I'm trying to get see if I can get a hold of someone who can fingerprint the gun. Yeah, check the fingerprints on the gun.
Okay.
For change the game. Informants everywhere for like having someone who might be in the like police or something. Sympathetic population to try and convince them to help me out. Ocean Heights, hopefully this person is like, I have someone in my turf who knows how to do this, and cover up because I know how to talk the jargon of forensics.
And you're removing evidence from a crime scene, for sure.
That too, yeah. Rival gangs. How are the gangs getting involved in this?
Maybe some of your contacts know contacts in other gangs. Maybe you have double agents. Maybe you have. Let's see how the roll comes out.
Okay. It's just
maybe they
+2.
intercept your guy. Maybe your guy is on his way to come to you, and yep, that is
7. So I get 2 juice.
That's right. So you have kind of a mixed success.
Okay, so with 2. And with 1, I'm going to create the story tag. Let's say, let's go James Randall, the guy who works in forensics for the district that I'm part of in Ocean Heights, for the police department. What's it called? Precinct that is near Ocean Heights.
Okay.
And I guess for the second one, let's go with another guy that I know who I can trust to deliver the gun to the police discreetly without them knowing where it came from, essentially. I'm not sure what I would call that person. A courier? Covert courier?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so story tags. James Randall Forensics, and I'm not even going to give this one a name, just Covert Courier. I'm going to, it's probably going to take some time, I guess, but I'm going to try for investigate using these tags, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, this particular one, I think, yeah, Ocean Heights, informants everywhere, and sympathetic population, combined with James Randall, covert courier. I don't know if cover up would fit this particular one because it's not about me, like my knowledge of how to cover up something. Because I've already taken the gun out of the crime scene. So, yeah.
Which do you think applies more, informants everywhere or sympathetic population? I'm going
Why
to
would
deny
they
you one
not?
of those.
Why?
Well, so you've already got your covert courier and James
Yeah.
Randall Forensics. You've made those people relevant to your investigation. So then,
The fact that James Randall is in Ocean Heights,
okay.
which means
But
he's part of the
right.
sympathetic population, but
Yeah,
informants
okay, so that's not
everywhere being that, I don't know.
Yeah. I just think those two being directly related to the role, to this investigation, you're not using the sympathetic population to perform this fingerprint investigation. And you're not really using informants everywhere, but you may, I mean, because we've already got the forensics guy. And so I'll tell you what, I'm going to get rid of forensics everywhere, but I'm going to give you sympathetic population because James Randall's going to have contacts that have the database of fingerprints. But I don't think this really has to do with Ocean Heights unless that's where you're focusing your fingerprint investigation. Like,
it has to do with Ocean Heights because that's the precinct that I'm sending my guy to, the precinct that James Randall is in, which was why he would be willing to help me.
okay, all right.
Because
So I'm going
the
to.
whole fact that
Yep.
I'm keeping the mafia out of Ocean Heights is why a police officer would be willing to help me.
Okay, gotcha. All right, roll with those. You do have some competition or people who might want to ruin things for you.
Did it
But it
roll?
looks like, yep.
Okay.
So you rolled a 5, but you had +3. So you get an 8, which is a good mixed success.
Okay,
So you
so
have
I need
3
to choose
clues.
one of these.
No.
Uh,
I'm going to potentially give you either I'm going to expose you to danger or I'm going to give you fuzzy clues. So it depends on the questions as part of your investigation. So ultimately, this fingerprint and the gun investigation does what? What is it? What is it you're trying to get? What information?
I'm trying to get information. So the first question I would have is, I guess, uh, whose fingerprints are on the gun? Outside of,
Hmm?
yeah, whose fingerprints are on the gun, essentially.
All right. Okay.
And I got another improvement from that.
Yeah, because I used a weakness. Oh, so you've got enough attention to get it up. Another improvement. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so whose fingerprints are on the gun? Martha's fingerprints are on the gun.
Only Martha?
That's it.
Okay. Where was this gun purchased?
This gun was reported stolen 10 years ago.
Damn. Why didn't she mention that he had been wearing gloves? That seems like it would be something that would be attention grabbing. The guy was wearing gloves the whole time? That is weird. Unless he has no fingerprints, which is creepy.
Any more questions? You have one left.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I can ask. This whole line of questioning is basically just a dead end now. Somehow this guy who's not a professional, and as far as I've been told, as far as I can tell, was pretty sloppy in the most of the ways he's tried to work. Managed to think ahead enough to put on gloves before trying to shoot someone. And it never came up in anyone's description of him. yeah, I can't think of any other information I could get from this.
Okay.
Because those are usually the two lines of questioning you can follow
Mhm.
when dealing with a murder weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where did
And
the
the gun
person
was.
get it, and whether or not their fingerprints were on it.
Yep. The gun was fired once.
Yeah, that part I could already figure out on my own,
Mhm.
and what type of gun it was. Yeah, it's another freaking dead end.
Dead ends end with dead people. All right. Meanwhile, back inside the washboard, Officer Dosk is asking you why you think that someone was after Martha. Why did the killer return and attack Martha?
No idea.
Come on, you've already been to her dressing room, like you've said.
I've never been to her dressing room. I never said that.
Oh yes, absolutely. And she goes back to her paper, and sure enough, God damn it, there it was. You said something about, obviously there was a fight or whatever.
I said all I said was she was in a fight.
I know, yeah, exactly. And so you would have had to have been in the dressing room in order for you to have seen that. Blah blah blah.
I didn't see that. I talked to her.
Yeah.
She told me. That's what she said. Why would I be in the dressing room? That doesn't make sense, ma'am. I just
So
know
she
what she told me after I helped calm her down. She was freaking out. I saw a person in need. Help calm him down. She explained what happened. That's all I know.
So yeah, you can see that she's has been questioning you enough and getting answers not just from your non-answers or your other answers, but then she's come around and she's pretty good at interrogating.
Sure, but all I've done
and
is come down here and drink. Talk to her. All I've done is talk to her and come down here and drink.
Yeah.
I didn't go to her dressing room.
Oh, you didn't? I thought you went there with Alexi.
I didn't. I was here.
Oh. Okay. So
he's the one back there.
Gotcha. So
she got the wrong person to be questioning.
She would then say,
I literally know nothing.
She would then say, she goes, where do you think, she says, where do you think the gun went?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, Martha said she shot the attacker.
Well, yes, but for me to know where the gun went, I'd have to know the gun is missing. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. She says, well, I didn't find a gun in her dressing room where she said it was. And you're the only one in here.
Well, the only weapon I have is this bottle of alcohol. And I was using it to drown my sorrows.
What sorrows do you have?
A friend in need.
That's a sorrow.
Do you have friends, Leo?
Of course.
When my friends are distressed, partners. And your friends distress, you don't feel sorrow?
Okay, there is upstairs out in the alley where your car is located. There is a tink, tink, tink on the window.
I'll roll down the window.
Yep, leaning down to the windows, another police officer. And so while you start rolling it down, he's making a gesture kind of for you to roll the window down. And so this is Officer Matt Quinn. He says, excuse me, Officer Matt Quinn here. What do you know about the incident that just happened here? I see that you're parked right here on the corner.
I had a friend who called, said one of
Oh,
the proprietor of this establishment gave us a
oh,
call.
Mr. Jefferson. Yeah.
Yes.
How do you know Mr. Jefferson?
A small bit of work. Business associates, you might say.
Hmm. Okay.
He kindly asked me to help him with an issue he was having.
I see. I noticed as I was coming around the building behind you um, that you had given someone a package or something. They were on like a bicycle. What was that about?
The business.
Hmm.
Am I
What kind of
under
business?
questioning, officer?
What kind? No, no, no. Just just getting to know people in the area, seeing if you saw something. Obviously you're around here. Did you see anyone leave the place?
I was not here. I was, like I said, contacted by my friend Mr. Jefferson after the attack.
Oh, and have you talked to Mr. Jefferson yet?
Briefly.
Hmm. Did you come here with anybody else?
I mean, I have my driver.
Right. He kind of looks up. Is your driver still there? Or
Yeah,
is the
he's in
bartender
the
your
driver's
driver?
seat.
Okay.
No,
Uh-huh.
my driver, I have a personal driver.
Yeah, okay. It's good. So he basically is like, yeah, no problem. Just routine questions. Just just
I understand it is a troubling situation. I
it
understand,
is
and
very. This has been pretty
we need to
active here the
discard
last
it.
couple days.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, what did you
Death
hear?
one day and assault the second?
Exactly. What do you know about the death? Were you here?
No, unfortunately.
Why is that unfortunate? I mean, a lot of people might count their blessings that
I
they weren't
mean,
here
I
when.
would. I mean, I. It may be arrogance, but I feel like if I were here, I could have probably done something.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Can't be everywhere all the time, though. So I understand the sentiment. So tell me, Mr. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Maximov.
Maximov? Okay. And is that a first name or a last? I'm sorry. Is that first name or last name?
Last name.
Do you have any ID on you by any chance?
Why do you
Oh, I
need
bet.
an ID?
Oh, it just helped me spell it right. So,
It is Maksimov.
so not MAX, MAKS.
Da.
See, an ID would have really helped with that. So, what did you say your first name was?
I didn't.
Oh, so what is it?
What is your first name?
My first name is Matt.
I only give my friends my first name.
Well, Matt is my friendly first name. It's Matthew, if I was being formal.
We are not friends, Matt, unfortunately.
Well, maybe we could be. I mean, I see a car like this, and obviously, a guy not necessarily lacking, sitting in an alley with a driver. In a car like this, he looks over the car. I'm assuming it's like a black,
Yeah.
you know,
It's one of those
comfortable
nice
sedan,
ones.
luxury sedan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, this kind of car on this side of town, not something you see all the time. And you're a friend of Sammy's. Sammy's a good guy. So maybe you're a good guy. So just trying to make sure that yeah, I'm sorry, what?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, so you got nothing to hide. So I'm just trying to figure out what you're doing here and how long you've been here. Did you see anything, see
I
anybody,
have
any shady people around the building anywhere?
not recently.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask for your driver's ID if that's okay, and just take some notes. So you can go back to your business. Thanks. It was nice talking to you. And I hope you'll, if you do see anything or if you find out anything that you think might be related in any way to what's been going on here, I'd appreciate a phone call. He reaches into his shirt pocket and pulls out a card and hands you the card.
I'll take the card, tuck it
Okay.
into my coat pocket.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
And you too. Nice to meet you, Mr. Maximov with a KS. And then he tips his hat to you a little bit, and he steps forward and taps on. The driver's already rolling the window down and handing some credentials, and so he looks at it. He jots a few notes down, and then tips his hat and says thank you. And he turns around and he walks back the other way behind the vehicle, and kind of looks back at you and whatnot, and keeps on walking back down to the alley to circle the building. He's looking around like he's questioning people to see if they've seen anything, anything like that. This attack happened in the daylight, so he's looking to see if anybody's seen the guy leave. And so he ends up walking on. All right. Meanwhile, back
As soon
inside,
as he's out of
yeah.
sight, I would leave the car and head indoors into the club.
Okay.
Yeah, into
The back entrance
into the
back there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Sammy has called Cyrus over, and Cyrus has brought a vehicle around, and they are putting Martha in the vehicle, and the ambulance is driven off, and then Cyrus heads off. So that's what you see happening a little bit further down from the door while you kind of walk back in and go inside.
Okay.
So we'll assume that your fingerprint answers come to you a little bit later.
Yeah.
It takes time for your courier to get it, and then for them to run fingerprint tests and so forth. All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna go and try to find Xavier.
Yeah, so as you're walking down the back hall, you see through the curtains out into the main area that there's a police officer there talking to him. Perfect time for you to step up and interrupt them.
Yeah. I will do so.
Okay.
I'll
So you go
walk
hop
up.
off the stage. Yep. Oh, is this your friend that you came with?
Which one are you asking? You're asking Xavier?
No, you see Officer Doss asking Xavier as she notices you hopping off the stage and walking toward them. She asks him, "Oh, is this your friend you came with?"
All right, for Alexi to answer.
Okay.
All
right.
I'm going to, as I hear that, I'm going to just walk up towards the bar and take a seat, looking around as if I'm expecting a bartender to be somewhere.
She looks at you and she says, Uh, hello. I'm Officer Das. What is your name?
Call me Al.
Oh, you mean like the song? That's cute. Um, so, is this your friend? And she points to Xavier.
Are we friends?
Oh, okay.
I've
Well,
never
that's
told
an
her.
odd.
I've
That
never told her I
that
came with anybody.
that is an odd way to interact. She starts to kind of hone in
You could
on
call
you.
us. You could call us neighbors. He does run a. Well, he is not a runner. He's the bartender at a rival bar right next to my nightclub.
Ah, so you do know each
What
other.
would exactly call you a rival?
Did you come here together?
Hmm. I don't think so.
Um, but those clowns.
Unless you decided to hitch a ride in my trunk.
Okay, she reaches over and grabs the microphone on her shoulder and she goes, Quinn, I'm in the main bar. Why don't you come join me?
So, where is the bartender? I'm assuming there is one since you have a drink.
Well, the club is not open, so that was interesting that I found this gentleman with a drink in his hand already. So I
And
mean,
you
this
also saw $20 on the counter.
I but what evidence is it that was yours? So I'm looking around and I'm seeing this place is full of all kinds of how shall I say oddities, and you two fit right in with the oddness of it all.
I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult.
Oh, no insult intended. Just calling them like I see them, yeah?
Fair
You
enough.
have an interesting accent. I am sensing it being maybe Eastern European.
My parents were immigrants.
Ah, so interesting. So I see you've been down here. Have you been to Martha's dressing room yet?
I passed by it, I think. Though I think you have to. There's a couple of doors between that and the hallway.
Well, so you haven't been in there.
Not that I remember. I might have been here weeks back, but there was another performer.
But not today.
No.
All right. Coming down the main stair into the bar, you hear Sammy and another person talking. You recognize it as the officer you talked to out in the alley. And these two guys enter the bar. And Officer Quinn looks up and sees Alexei and kind of raises
I'll
an
give him a
eyebrow at that.
I'll give him a little wave. Hello, Matt. Nice to see you again.
Mr. What's it again? Maximov with the KS.
Your voice is kind of crackly. Is that just me?
Could be I got away from the mic a little bit. So
Yeah, that's.
he says, Maximov with the KS.
Yeah, you're still buzzing a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. Let me check my audio. Just started. How's that? Is that better?
Is it just me that's buzzing for,
that
or?
better?
No, it
Does that
sounds
sound
very
better?
crackly. Like
Yeah.
Crackly?
like
Yeah.
What's it called? Like the cord got pulled out a little.
Yeah, changed. But sometimes the software, the memory kind of gets a little wonky, and then the audio software gets weird. I'm going to drop out real quick. I'll be right back out of the audio.
Okay.
So this is interesting. We're cornered by cops. Luckily, the weapon in question has already left the premises.
Okay, is that any better?
It is not better.
It's not better?
Exactly the same.
Okay. Hold on. Okay.
Oh, that's
There you
better.
go.
So I use a preamp. And sometimes that needs a USB preamp. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're much better. It's
Can
all
you hear me?
cleared up.
Maybe louder. I think you
Hello?
Can
turned
you
it.
hear us? Oh, dang.
All right, one more time. Can you hear me now?
I hear you perfect.
Now it's crystal? Okay. So I have a preamp. That's a Focusrite preamp. It's a USB preamp for my microphone. And once in a while, the USB connection on it, kind of like, your printer doesn't print right or gets hung up. It kind of does that with this too. So I think
Technology, you gotta love it.
Yeah. All right. So there is some discussion back and forth. They are they're going to start putting the pressure on both of them as they're looking just to check up. You guys are the only two people that are here. Sammy is going to try to play in on that you're trustworthy, but they are. We want to get you away from being suspect. So both of them have alert 1 that they're going to be using to try to suss out if there's any shenanigans going on.
Okay.
Sammy has chill 1. So he's going to try to use that to your benefit. What I want you to do is one of you take the lead, and the other can do some kind of a change the game to support the leader. And I want you to roll something about, let's see what kind of move sounds good. Convince? No, that's not good. That's the one that's weird. So
I mean,
what?
seems like that would be it, right?
Yeah, except it says when you use your ability to talk, threaten, or seduce someone into doing something.
Yeah, we want them
So to be
like
friendly,
move on from us as
trust.
suspect. Yeah,
Okay, you want them
we'll
to
convince them
trust,
to trust us.
and so if you fail, then that's going to amp up, making you look guilty. All right. So let's
Okay.
do that. Go ahead and do a convince. Now somebody can do a change the game if you want to try to create some tags to help the person rolling to convince. So you decide how you want to deal with it.
I mean, you're the better talker. I'm generally better at intimidating people rather than convincing them to trust me.
I can try convince.
I mean, I could try to convince it, but it's less effective than, trying to scare people.
Just have the world better than
I
the
can be the
three.
plan. I can be the plan B if need be.
All right. Well, try to create a story tag with your change the game.
Okay. So what kind of story tag do we want to do? What are we're trying to get them to trust us. So
Like good tags might be totally
I'm gonna
legit.
go with cover up. Cover up because of the fact that I did remove the gun from the place, but because there is no gun, they have no proof, nothing to use on me anyway. there's like they don't really have any evidence outside of their own intuition that I've done anything. So I'm gonna go with cover up, radiates authority.
Good.
And careful and measured.
Okay. Those are all good tags. What is flickering visage?
So that's like if I use, like, if you like hover over it and look at the description, it's basically the idea that when I am tapping into my mythos, occasionally someone will get kind of like almost like a psychic impression of the mythos.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. Because that comes from your radiates
Uh,
authority.
Yeah,
Whoops.
and protective
So-
aura. Kind of gives them the image of a kind of intimidating warrior.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, here we go. Oh, that's a good one.
Good.
That's a good roll.
All right.
So,
two
yeah,
juice,
I've got,
and you rolled well enough. You can even make something stick.
I'm going to create a story tag. Is like trustworthy work like that. Like we give off
Sure.
the impression of being trustworthy, and I'm going to go with prolong the effect.
Okay. So,
So this
this will
doesn't come up
last.
again.
Yeah, it'll last a couple of scenes, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead now, Mr. Xavier, and your pressured 2 is going to be counting against you while you try to put these officers' minds to rest that you are not suspects.
All right. Guess I'll probably use the same tags I used last time,
Okay?
right?
If you want, yeah. It's a different instance, but if the tags apply, then go for it.
Be loved. Everyone's having fun. We're all having fun here.
All right, so we're going to give the alerts against you, but Sammy's chill is in your favor. And then your pressured is working against you. And I'm going to give you short-term memory loss as a negative as well. That's you trying to keep all your story straight while they ask you this circular questioning, as cops tend to do. All right, let's see.
11.
With an 11, that did rather well. All right. So, you get a... So what you're going to do is you're going to choose a relevant status of tier 3, which is like friendly or cooperative. And so this is how convince works. You state your agenda and you choose a status that if they don't go along with it, then they take this status, right? Which in other words, they can avoid the status and just be friendly to you anyway, or if they try to go against, in other words, if someone uses this against you don't want your willpower to be taken away, but you can choose, for example, if there's a gun at your head, you can choose to go along with what the guy says, right? Like they're pointing guns at you saying freeze, and you can choose to go along with them. Otherwise, you'll take gunshot 3, right? That kind of thing. So in this case, you're gonna tell me what it is you want. What do you want them to take as a status effect if they don't go along with whatever your. I'm assuming your agenda is we're not suspects, right?
Basically, trusted three.
Okay.
I want them to
So,
trust us, but
all
I
right.
guess
So if
if
they
they
don't go
don't,
along with not showing you being
then I would have
suspects,
them take
then
fatigue three
ah,
because of
okay.
dealing with us and how exhausting it is talking to Xavier for a long period of time.
That's great. That works really good. Okay, so you still have your pressured, but you will actually effectively take away their alert status of 1 and give them a 2 more status of fatigued 2 or confused 2 or something, right?
Yeah.
So they may walk out and go, okay, don't leave town and leave because they don't know what else to do with you. All right, that sounds good. All right, so they have come to terms, especially with Sammy vouching for you with his chill 1 and Alexi throwing in that you're trustworthy. He's like added some credibility. And Chavi, Officer Doss, also does take an interesting look at you, Alexi, while you're presenting your credentials and your upstanding citizens, and you both work at legitimate businesses across town, nightclubs also like this. So Chavi is your friend, and he invited you over to help out, with the problems. And Jefferson also goes, yeah, we're just trying to keep this out of the news. I don't want anything to negatively affect Martha's rise to, her great comeback. She's going to be the hottest thing in all of downtown, blah blah blah. And so things work out in your favor, and you get the policeman on your side, and they're trusting you. All right. With that said, we will close with the relief of you're no longer suspects, and they're going to be cooperative in helping you investigate if you help them investigate. Kind of this mutual assisting, please, kind of thing. Tell us everything that you've learned. We'll tell you what we've learned. Let's try to get to the bottom of what these crimes are, right? And so it's going to end tonight with a call coming over the radio saying, Officer Doss steps aside, and she's like, wait, what are you saying? And so she steps away for a second to talk on the radio, and there's some hushed tones, but she does seem to be quite alarmed. She comes back to you and she says, it appears that we have another case that is probably related. In the suburbs, a victim named Adam Walsh has turned up dead. Earlier today, there was a funeral. Adam Walsh lost his 15-year-old kid. And apparently, before Martha came here, she sung at the funeral as a favor to Adam Walsh. I guess. Or at least maybe to the funeral director. But she was there, and she sung at the funeral. And Adam Walsh was died on the scene, but there was also a tattooed man in a hoodie that crashed the funeral, literally broke in. And then Adam Walsh got up and tried to leave the room and collapsed just outside the bathrooms. and the hooded man fled the scene. So we need to go investigate that. I've just been informed by my superiors that this is now 3 murders that seem similar in the killer's MO, or in the type of the cause of death is what's similar. And I have 72 hours to solve this crime before the cases are closed as unsolved. And that ends for tonight. Next time we play in January, we will pick it up from there with potentially 2 other murder investigations for you to dig in and see what you can learn about those, and then find the connections.
We got ourselves a psychic serial killer.
Yeah.
Wonder what
All right.
got.
So now we're going to go ahead and run end of session, and then we'll wrap it up and say goodnight to our audience that has been watching us play. All right, so let's start this time with Xavier for this session end. While the credits are rolling, we're going to go around the table and ask you to answer one or more of the following questions. Which one do you choose?
I don't know. I guess most meaningful interaction was with Alexi when he stepped in while I was being talked to with the police.
Okay,
So can I take a help Alexi?
perfect. Yep, that sounds good. All right, Alexi, what do you say?
I think. So, what exactly does it mean for a theme to be under strain?
Meaning that you, it can mean a lot of things. So, I mean, it's really, everything is very open to interpretation. But in this case, I would say themes that didn't have a play in on anything that's going on yet might put it under stress. A theme that you as a player feel useless having on your character sheet might put it under stress. It might be that you are so reliant on one of your themes that might also put it under stress, because your focus there may create some pressure from other themes, right? So if it's a logos theme that you spent all your time being mundane this episode, then maybe your mythos is going to put a little pressure, right, on that logos theme, that kind of thing, for example.
So it, okay. There's a lot of different possibilities.
Yeah, it's very open to interpretation, and it more has to do with, is there a direction that you want to take your character at this stage of the game, and you want to maybe start to steer it that direction, or just see if you steer it this way, what happens? How do you feel next session about it, etc. It's really ambiguous on purpose. You may not have a place where your character arc is going to go yet, in which case you don't really have, that doesn't really play in on it. And there's no crew, you didn't use crew tags this session, so there's none of those are burnt, need to be recovered. So it's really kind of the second question. Can you think of a moment that created help or hurt for your character toward Xavier? And if not, that's okay too, right? Again, this is an opportunity for you to do something that may lead to some future evolution of your character or the crew, etc.
Why is there only 4 instances of that word in here?
What word?
The word strain. I feel like it would be a more if it comes up like this in
So, for
so
example,
many
here's
ways.
here's one good example. The fact that you're on this weird investigation, which clearly seems to you to be a psychic serial killer now,
Mhm.
um, it's keeping you away from your business. So does that put one of those under strain?
That could be possible, but I've already got turf. I've already got an answer for turf.
And it's again, it's the same kind of thing. Is does that answer change anything on the back of your turf card? That's it. It's just these are just prompts for you to be thinking about the evolution of your character. Because in other role-playing games, the evolution of your character happens when the little hourglass goes bing above your head and it's time to level up, and then you go consult the tome of knowledge to see what happens when your character levels up, and you make some choices off a menu of different things to choose from, and then now you suddenly have those abilities. These are things that help you to kind of be thinking about the future of your character before you get there, so that when you get there, like a theme improvement or like you fade a theme, like there's another move, by the way, let's just talk about that real quick. There is another special move that is called make a hard choice. And this is a move that I want you to have somewhere in the not so far back of your mind when you are just playing through the game. You may have to make a hard choice between your mythos and your logos. So your past Alexi as a mafia guy, or your Vlad the Impaler influence. Xavier, maybe your Dionysus is going to be struggling to go a certain way, like a less serious, I'm not taking this seriously, and I just think I want to get drunk, like you sort of did, right? Or the other side, the logos side of your character, may want to ground you in reality as opposed to fly off into, like you used your Beyond the Mist, you went to kind of a different place for a little while, and that, you know what I mean. So these are the things that I want you to think about, and that these are prompting you. So at some point, there may be an opportunity for you to go, wow, there's a conflict right now between my logos and my mythos, so I have to make a hard choice. And that will tell you either fade or crack this, or which one are you cracking or fading, because you're focusing on the other side of your character. That's what's going to win this hard choice, is this side of the character, as opposed to that side. So you begin to fade off that side. So especially if you're looking to, like, oh, what would my character be like with 3 mythos themes? That means one of my logos has to crack, or so what's going to make that crack? And so as you find things during the adventure that kind of come close to that, you go, I feel like I have a hard choice to make here, and I'm going to choose this. So I'm going to mark fade or crack on this, right? And so those are moves you instigate. I don't bring them up. I may try to, when I'm doing my session planning, look for opportunities to provide a hard choice for you. But that's after I get to know your characters better as well, too. So it's not going to be in the first few sessions. But otherwise, you're looking for those. Anyway, those are just things that have to do with how character development works in this game. It's like an ongoing thing. And you may ebb and flow in your themes throughout the game. If this goes on 6 months to a year, which is kind of how it's supposed to go, there may be times for you to get back and forth 2 or 3, 4 times, right, of different ways. So you kind of get to decide how your character moves, and then you think, oh, I've got 3 mythos themes, but I'm feeling like I'm losing my grasp on reality, and I've already lost my turf, but I kind of want to get some of that back. That provided some security for me. This is kind of, my shorts are flapping in the wind over here on this. So you evolve your character back that direction a little bit, and so forth. And what are you going to give on the mythos side? That's all. It's great, fun, exciting opportunities that go on a lot in your head, and you help bring out during the game.
Okay.
All right, guys. Then I think that will end our session unless you have
Oh.
one of those you want to answer.
I don't know. I think the most meaningful interaction. I don't know if it counts as. I don't know if it would necessarily count as an interaction if it was like the us working together to try and convince the cops to trust us thing. This kind of seems like meaningful
No, that was a good
interaction.
interaction. Sure. So you could take a help on Xavier for that. Sure, absolutely. Again, that's a free point that you get to spend as juice next session, right?
Cool.
Throw that help in there and then just make up how you're helping. What are you doing to help out this time? Like you already do that and change the game. This just adds even more to it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, great. Good job. I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream. And thanks everyone for watching, and I'll wrap up with the players after.